Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by the best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off. The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off.
Back at you and Gloves Off. Today we're talking to one of our city leaders, Dr. MARTE MARTINEZ, one city councilman, and we're going to be touching base a little bit on the city. How are you doing, Doc?
Good to see you. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here, and it's always a pleasure because you always tell us what's going on in a good way. And let's see what
I try to. I try to say the truth.
Well, that's what it's all about. You had an event, didn't you, over at the park? Talk to us a little bit about it.
Yeah, that was a wonderful event. We had a tree planting. It was the 10th year anniversary of the creation of North Central Park. The vision of Commissioner Felix Velasquez and Council Member Jean Bermares at the time, they I think there was some dispute among landowners, and they found a way of creating a park in that area, and using their vision, they created this real nice blank slate large park that rivals any other park that other municipalities have. And they set it up in a way that would allow the addition of new features to it. And one of the features we tried to start looking at is shade. Obviously, Laredo, Texas is extremely hot, we know that, and it's one of the reasons why we're less healthy, I think, as a population, is because people can't exercise as routinely during the middle of the day. It's not 70 degrees where you can just go outside and start walking. It's 100 degrees, 108 degrees, and it's warm.
Sure.
And so we needed a canopy over that
Runway.
that park, and so all the trail system. And so when the park was initiated, they planted 100 trees, and this time we went a little bit further, and we actually planted 240 trees.
That's awesome.
And the response for the community was, I mean, beyond fantastic. We anticipated that we were hopeful that we were going to have 900 volunteers, 800 to 900 volunteers. We anticipated that about 600 would show up or sign up, because we wanted 900 or 800. We ended up with 1,200.
That's awesome.
Over
That's awesome.
1,100 volunteers, and the work that we thought, 240 trees, trimming trees, fixing the wells, mulching, picking up trash, painting graffiti, we thought it was going to take 4 to 5 hours to complete those tasks. And these people that showed up, these young individuals, families, people that love that park, people that use that park, they rallied to this cause, and in less than 2 hours, all the work was done. We'd run out of trees, we had run out of mulch, we had run out of holes that we had dug, because we had pre-dug the holes, with a special auger that I purchased for this and for future tree plantings throughout the whole city. Just the work was done quickly, and people showed up with a commitment to service. They just got to it. It was overwhelming to see. It was really humbling to see how many people care about their city, and it shouldn't be surprising to me. But I guess sometimes you get a little jaded because you think people aren't listening or don't care, right? But this is a testament to the fact that people do care. They love this city. They love their community. They want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of events that are positive. You know, we want to be associated with positive things, and this tree planting was positive, as opposed to some of the more negative things that we've had in the past. I mean, this was people rallying together for a cause, and it shows you, Paul, that Laredoans together are a mighty force. A united Laredo, economically and just ideas-wise, creativity-wise, we're just a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, for the longest time, everybody's always been very proud of Laredo. Okay, and we should be.
We should.
You know, we should be. And it's a city that's old, has a lot of history behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We should protect that. And it's a very amicable city, and compared to other cities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've lived in other cities and
A
stuff
lot
like
of
that.
them,
You
yes.
know, and some cities are not friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just something in the air. Just, you know, they might.
I think it's the water.
There's something, but Laredo's changed, and I'm glad that park is moving it along in a good way, because we do need that.
Yes.
We do need that. People need to exercise more, and care a little bit more about their bodies in general.
Yes.
Because we live in a community that we have a lot of diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of other sicknesses in there. Whether a bunch of people blame it in different ways, I think it's just the culture that we are just set in our ways.
Yeah, we're sedentary.
And we're not very active as per se, and I think we have to change it. We have to start with our little guys and kind of teach them, for them to be active, and they'll grow into that.
Yes, and some of those are the, a year into it, we really focused on those things. We wanted to start with the basics, right? So this first year for me has been about the basics. It's been about infrastructure, investment in our aging infrastructure and in our aging roads. And then additionally, it's also about our park system. We've tried to standardize all the pocket parks in the city. We've gotten some new parks built, improved the facilities at North Central Park tremendously, and made it much more likely that people are going to be out and exercising. And even this tree planting was done in a way that it's going to have the most immediate impact, because the trees originally were planted about 10 feet away, 7 to 10 feet away from the trail, and so they have to be behemoths. They have to be very large trees before they provide shade. Well, we looked up what's the closest that we could plant the trees to provide shade without the root system affecting the trail. And so we were within 5 feet in a lot of those areas. And so 5 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, those trees are going to be large enough where you'll start to see a shadow right away. And again, this whole year for us has been about trying to make sure that our focus is on the basic essentials, trash, what the city's supposed to be doing that, what they're supposed to be good at. And then, of course, we started delving into some of the other stuff, the economic development, economic diversity type things that we have to do, attracting businesses, and then pumping some monies into an aging downtown that's in need of a stimulus that the city then has to kind of give to that area.
Sure. What do you foresee some of the major projects that are coming up in 2020?
Wow. So there's a lot, and it's really neat because things are popping up that we didn't necessarily expect. So for such a long time, we've had to auto invest, right? We didn't have enough external investors that were interested in Laredo as an economy. And when we now have, some big name people wanting to invest in the 4 blocks, for instance, that's a huge project that we're working on. Some of the investments that are happening in cold food storage, you're talking $1 million investments for cold storage of vegetables and fruits that are passing along our border. Light industrial areas, warehousing areas in the northeast side of the city where you're having, again, multi-million-dollar investments. I think that continuing to follow our comp plan in focusing on maybe 2 or 3 niches. I think the comp plan called for biomedical sciences and then light manufacturing or light industrial. Just following those things and going aggressively towards those things. I think that's what I see 2020, 2021 being. And then also figuring out a way to curb the accelerated cost of homes in our city. We just kind of been going up, and we need to just slowly taper that down. And we do that by making sure that our market is healthy as far as the development of homes. And so I see growth in the outskirts of our city. I see growth in the development in the inner city, downtown, uptown, those sorts of areas. I think that we have a lot of potential, and 2020 should be the beginning of that. But these things take a lot of time, Paul. They don't happen overnight, and so you'll see the investments being made. And when I ran, I told people, I said, a lot of the decisions that I make now, you're not going to see that they're going to have an immediate impact. You're going to see that 10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now, you're going to say, oh man, I'm glad we did that back then, because it takes time for those things to come to fruition.
How do you see security here more?
Security? Well, I know our police force is doing a fantastic job. I know our crime rate is really low compared to other places. We have had a little uptick on a few things, and we don't know whether that's an increase in reporting, because some of these domestic things weren't reported, and now they're being reported now. Also sexual assaults, those sorts of things, they weren't reported, and now there's a lot of women that feel comfortable enough, and as they should, to be able to report these things.
And they have to. They have to. And ladies out there, if you're in trouble or have anything, there's a lot of outlets out there that can help you, and a lot of women are afraid.
They are.
We get them here all the time, and they want to learn, they want to do this, and first report it if there's something really wrong.
Yeah, but it's a culture thing, and we hope to change that. But security here is good. We also have a significant collaboration between DPS and the Border Patrol, as well as other governmental agencies, and the police do a very good job of collaborating with them to make sure that some of these bigger criminal organizations are fended off and dismembered in our area, everything from gangs to true cartel activity. That they do a really good job of making sure they don't come across the border. And those people, the reason why I think they stay across the border is because they recognize that the consequences are different in the United States than they are where they are.
Oh, absolutely.
And so there they can control the narrative. And here the narrative is, you know, the U.S. won't
Absolutely.
won't
That's what
mess around.
That's what I've always said. If they would know that, you know, because they feared the red, white, and blue more than anything else, and they respect that.
Yeah, they do. That's what
we
come
all
over here.
we have to have that presence.
Yeah, that's
We
why
have
they
to
don't
have
come
that
this way.
presence.
But they do use our
Yeah.
youth, and
That's
so
exactly right.
we've actually talked about that several times and how to dismantle that. And, you know, some of the things that we do are those after-school activities, making sure the parks work correctly, that our rec centers are up to par, that we have the school programs, the after-school programs, collaborating with UISD and LISD, and then having things to do that are positive in nature. And we have that. Sometimes we don't do a good job of letting the public know that we have it, but we do have a lot of activities. And so we are going to continue to learn that. So I'm excited for Laredo for 2020 and 2021 and 2020. I really am. I think that we're moving in the right direction.
Sure. What new project? Not new projects. What up and coming projects you have right now in December? Because usually December's more festivities. Do you have anything planned for your area?
When we just did a tree lighting,
Okay.
a few days ago, we did our Christmas, our annual Christmas, Light the Way for Christmas tree
Sure.
lighting. It was a great event. We had Elvis singing there and a bunch of UISD choir, a bunch of people performing. So that was the event that we had for Christmas. Right now, we don't have anything planned anymore through the holidays. It's more family time. We know everybody wants to be with their family. Come the new year, though, we have projects. We have significant amounts of projects that we're working on right now that are currently in the process of being worked on, as far as the process of being developed, right? And so some of the amenities that you're going to see in North Central Park and the connection from Divine Mercy to North Central Park, we hope over 2020 that's going to be a big thing we'll be working on. We hope that Springfield, we have the monies to make it a 2-lane now. We're hoping that with TxDOT's help, we'll be able to make it a 4-lane all the way down. We're already collaborating and negotiating with landowners in that area to find the right of way to be able to make that whole connection. And so we laid a lot of the groundwork for some of the projects that we think 2020, 2021 should get completed. And that Springfield will help tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the projects that I'm working on are some of the major projects, but they're still too. We don't have any confirmation yet. Nothing's solid, so I can't say anything about it yet. But we have big projects that we're working on downtown, big projects that we're working on in the northeast, northwest part, large roads that the MPO is working on, significant funding for the overpasses that have been allocated. So, I mean, we're going to blink and we're not going to recognize our city. And I think you've lived here how long now? Your whole life?
No, well, let's put it back. I moved back in 2000, so putting on 20 years now, and it's changed
You
dramatically.
recognize the city.
Sure.
So 20 years from now, with that exponential growth that we're
Sure.
anticipating, you won't recognize the city.
I was gone for 15 years, came back, didn't know what was going on.
Yes.
And then just in the last, I would say 6 years this way, you know, I started going down towards the south, and you started seeing neighborhood after neighborhood.
And affordable
And it
homes.
continues, yeah.
Affordable. I mean, well, you know, you talk about affordability, and I mean, it's affordable for certain people. I know that other people still struggle quite a bit. It's a daily struggle on the south side, not all over the city, but on the south side particularly. But there are more affordable homes that have been in a while.
Absolutely.
But there are also nice homes that are being built on the southeast and southwest portions of the city. Beautiful homes that you would have never seen 20 years ago, and now you're building these wonderful homes down there. And so it's exciting times in Laredo as far as the market is concerned. I really do hope that we can increase the supply so that we can at least moderately decrease the price of homes, that sharp, steady increase. I know developers want, they want to make more money, but at the same time, I mean, what's the point of having expensive homes if people can't afford them, or they can't live a comfortable life or retirement if they can't live in their homes? And so we're it's that double-edged sword where the city can do certain things but can't do too much. You can't affect market forces directly, but indirectly you can try to shape the market to where it's more affordable for people that want homes.
Are you all going to try to lower the taxes and stuff like that?
Yeah, so next year, that's something that we've talked about is lowering the effective tax rate. This year was difficult, but next year it's something that we're going to talk about. I know that council was hopeful to do it, but a lot of things came down the pipeline as far as the state was concerned that really changed our ability and our game plan. We kind of had to think on our feet as to what we were going to do this past budget cycle. But we're hopeful the next budget cycle it's going to be a little easier for us because we'll know the rate of growth and what to do. We've got the water park that we got done, so that's going to proposals as far as building the sports complex that's going to be built. It's really awesome. It's really a lot of cool things happening.
Absolutely. Big question. A lot of people have been contemplating in some fear and asking, what's going on with the city manager? Are we going to be getting one soon?
Well, we finally put kind of the date that we're closing, right? Because we had never put a date of closing. We had just put a date of when we were going to stop advertising for it. Then we extended the advertising, and so now the date of closing will be towards the end of this month. Then after that, the applicants are going to go through an interview process through the committee, and then they're going to bring scores. And I think they decided, the council decided that we would bring the top 3 or the top 5, something like that. And then council is going to use the same scorecard, the same format, and we'll grade them as well. And then based on that grade, that's when we're going to decide who the manager is going to be. So we're hopeful that by January, second week, third week in January, we'll have that'll be settled. That's definitely our hope.
Great. Anything else you'd like to tell the folks?
I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday, and
Absolutely.
I say Merry Christmas, of course, and a Happy New Year. It's been a year since I started office, and I've tried to do my part to make the city a little bit better, and I've been honored and humbled to serve, and I want to continue to do that over the next year. But I just want to tell all my supporters thank you, and also everybody that lives in Laredo, just have an incredible holiday season. Be kind to each other, love one another, protect one another.
Absolutely.
And take this time and just keep going with it. Just keep running with it. January, February, March, April, May.
Absolutely. Keep the friendship alive.
Absolutely.
Let's stop the hate and just keep the friendship alive.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you.
No, thank you for being there and
Of
standing
course,
up.
thank
And we're here anytime, any news or anything that you have, please come by. And folks, the doctor said one good thing, and that is, let's keep the festivities and the happiness and the friendship going. And I think that's very important. Let's stop the hate and let's just be a little bit more amicable with each other.
I said a few good things.
Until next time.
God bless you guys.
The following political paid advertisements do not reflect the political opinions of the program or its associates. Any political campaign or candidate who wishes to purchase advertising can do so. Advertising is open to all on behalf of Gloves Off. Gloves Off is always on point. Bringing you the best on current issues, community affairs, and the happenings around us. This segment of Gloves Off is brought to you by The Best, so pay them a visit. Check them out. This is Gloves Off.